Today in this video, I'm going to get into why exactly it's so important for us as men and women to take up our responsibility and take up our cross in this manner. What it means to fight against the turmoil and the suffering that we're incredibly engulfed in. Why it's so important to carry this responsibility and carry your cross in an individual manner. How this affects yourself, your family, your friends, your broader community, and the broad society at large, and how this plays into how you think about yourself, how you feel about yourself, and your perception on your self-worth. We live in a society that is so incredibly confused and misaligned and backwards, and if we as people understand how to navigate this correctly, we become incredibly strong, and we become beacons of light that people are able to look up to and follow in our footsteps. And all of this will create a stronger identity for you and a great legacy and destiny for you to fulfill. So the biggest call to action for anybody is to bear your sacrifice and to bear your cross and to bear your responsibilities. And when you are not able to take your responsibilities as they are, you fall short and the broader society falls short as well. We have been taught to escape pain and escape suffrage and engulf into comfortability. We're taught to find shortcuts around struggle and never take it head on. But for example, Christ never ignored his sacrifice and never ignored his cross. He completely embraced it. The cross was never meant to destroy him, but it was the weight that revealed who he truly was. And this is the exact same phenomenon that happens with people like you and I. Our sacrifice and our responsibilities and the turmoil and pain that is immense in life is not meant to destroy us. It's meant to make us. Swords do not become sharp through softness and through comfortability. Swords become sharp through molten hot fire. Through pain and suffrage, beauty emerges. And this is in a metaphysical basis. Your cross, your trials, your tribulations, these are not punishments, but they are actually tools that reality uses to make you flourish. These things shape you into something eternal. For example, if Christ's glory was born from his suffering, why on earth would we think that ours comes from comfort? Christ embraced his cross voluntarily, and this shows that purpose is often embedded in suffering. Our cross and your responsibility is uniquely crafted to you. Whatever you despise most about life, that might be where your legacy and where your destiny lies in. What in the world would you like to change the most? If you think about this, this may be where your life purpose lies. And the challenge to alleviate these societal issues, however big or small, is where the meaning is. The path to make society a better place is exactly where you derive this meaning from. Comfort abundantly kills potential, and pressure is precisely what reveals who you are and what you could become. There is a modern rebellion against responsibility, and I'm sure you have noticed. Society teaches us to seek pleasure, comfort, convenience, and escape, but meaning in reality requires weight, and comfort and convenience are weightless. We live in a generation allergic to burden. We want blessings without weight, freedom without duty, and meaning without cost. But you cannot rise if you refuse to lift. Our soul deteriorates when it is never challenged, when it doesn't have something authentically able to strive towards that truly makes a difference. We become lost and fragmented. When you run from responsibility, you don't avoid pain. You simply just prolong the pain. And carrying our responsibility and carrying our cross is rebellion against a culture that promotes ease. It's truly an act of saying, I will suffer for what is right and not rot for what is easy. When a society glorifies ease, it produces fragmented minds and even more fragmented souls. Responsibility is the doorway to meaning. Responsibility is not an obstacle to get to it. Avoiding responsibility always leads to decay, however big or small that may be. Where embracing this responsibility leads to sovereignty and something to have fruit and abundance. The cross reveals the depth of love present. Us taking our responsibility and us taking up the cross in our own individual way showcases and establishes how deep our love actually goes. True love requires sacrifice. The cross is not cruelty. The cross is devotion, and carrying your responsibility is just this. Christ, for example, did not bear his cross and bear his responsibility out of obligation. He bore it out of love for humanity and for truth. Love that costs you nothing is not love, but it is simply indulgence. Love that bleeds is divine. When you carry your cross for your family and for your community and for what is good, you're proving that love still exists in a world that is so disheartened. Every act of sacrifice echoes the heart of God. Every step forward under the weight of your cross is a declaration that you are made for more than pleasure, more than comfort. You were made for meaning, and taking up your cross and taking up your responsibility is a rebellion towards that culture. Real love does demand sacrifice. Real love is proven and not proclaimed. Christ's sacrifice was chosen, demonstrating divine's love intentional nature. Enduring pain and responsibility for others is purely divine and absolutely not self-indulgent. Now, the cross and our responsibility that we have to bear as people is largely individualistic. However, the similarity amongst us all is that we are called to bear that responsibility. Each person's responsibility is unique within their own purpose, within their own life, within their own community, and within their own gifts that can make them flourish. Every person has a unique call to action and a unique cross that they need to bear. The similarity is that all crosses refine and sharpen the soul, and in fact, get you to know exactly who you are. Your cross won't look like mine, and my cross won't look like yours. But your cross, and similar with my cross, is that it was perfectly crafted to burn away parts of you that are holding you back. When Christ told us to take up your cross and follow me, he did not mean to imitate his pain. He meant to follow his path. The path where suffering becomes wisdom and knowledge, and death becomes resurrection. We are not to compare our crosses. We are not to compare our responsibility. We are simply just called to carry our cross and carry our responsibility faithfully, daily, and relentlessly. Your cross is perfectly tailored to you. It is designed for your refinement, and comparison completely destroys purpose. No two call to actions are identical. What is your responsibility is different from what is my responsibility, and vice versa. Carrying your cross aligns you with Christ's path as well, not his circumstances. And there is a beautiful transformation we get from this endurance. We become smarter, more competent, stronger, more loving, more generous, and the amount of humility that we have increases. Taking on your responsibility and taking on your pain completely shows you just how important it is to put yourself out there and try to make a difference day to day. This shows you truly what it means to be a person and truly what it means to be part of humanity. And without this observation that beauty comes from pain and flourishment comes from suffering, then we take everything for granted. Every single step that you take under pressure changes you for the better. Pain endured with faith becomes strength. Sacrifice embraced with humility becomes power. The world that we live in wants to numb itself through distraction, through noise, through excess. But every single time that you bear your pain with purpose, you become the kind of person that hell fears and that heaven recognizes. And I mean that metaphysically. The cross, in this turmoil that you will face in life, does not make you weaker, but it resurrects you into who you were meant to be. Pressure creates the highest form of strength. Things do not get stronger without that necessity for adaptation, and this phenomenon is enveloped in all aspects of reality. Pain processed consciously becomes wisdom, and avoided pain becomes bondage. It snowball effects into something insidious and poisonous that will take you out in the future. That's why we're called to strike right now and remove ourselves from comfortability and what is familiar. But we need to take the bull by the horns head on to ensure a brighter future for ourselves. Avoided pain becomes bondage. Your future self is forged in the fires of today, and it is shaped by how you carry the weight. Now, what is the necessity of bearing your cross in the modern age? What is the necessity of carrying and pursuing your responsibility? We're living in a society collapsing under the avoidance of burden. The cross and this self-call to action creates a divine order and restores our collapsing society. We are witnessing in our society what happens when people at a mass ignore their sacrifice, ignore their cross, and ignore their responsibilities. We are witnessing the consequences right now. Depression, chaos, hedonism, emptiness are completely abundant because nobody is carrying anything sacred anymore. To bear your cross, bear your sacrifice, bear your responsibility is to re-enter a sacred contract with God and with the divine, and you will be glorified through this. Ask what is above you and ask divinity itself to use you as an instrument for its purpose, because you are an integral part of our story. We all are, and society continuously tells us that we are not, and that we are insignificant, but this could not be further from the truth. They want us to be disheveled and have a low amount of discernment and a low amount of identity and self-expression. But if we invite those spirits in, society will fail and turn wicked. The second coming of Christ begins when we stop looking for saviors and become the saviors ourselves. The cross, in a large way, is the price that we have to pay for our gift of free will and our gift of consciousness. We're gifted this amazing reality and these amazing minds and bodies, yet we still do nothing with them. We still waste our lives and become a burden to ourselves and the people around us. The price for consciousness and the price for this beautiful existence is to bear your sacrifice, however big or small that may be. Modern collapse is rooted in burden avoidance. Bearing your cross reconnects you to this divine order and this intelligent design that we are all derived from. This restores your moral architecture. This restores all negative thoughts you have about yourself. Resurrection of Christ consciousness begins with taking up our responsibility. It's not prophecy, but it's something actionable that we must do to make the world a healthier place. The cross was never just wood. The cross is largely a symbol of what must be endured for your transformation and society's transformation at large. We are not being crushed by our burdens. We are being carved by them. We need to stop asking for the weight of this responsibility to be lighter, and instead we need to ask for the strength to carry it. Because when you bear your cross with courage, you don't just carry it, but you become it. And through this way, we become the bridge through bearing our cross and our responsibility and taking up reality's turmoil. We become the bridge between heaven and earth. And that is where men truly get resurrected through the divine. Your burden is sculpting you, not destroying you. The goal is not less weight, but more spiritual muscle. And embracing this weight will transform you into the bridge where the divine becomes visible in human form. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video today. If you have any comments or replies, please leave them. I hope everybody has a good day, good week, good month, good year, and I will see you in the next one.